welcome back, guys. My name is Timmy Train. I'm your link to the fire within and the God. Now, guys, since the day you were born, whatever you've learned, whether you're old or young, you have an open mind, right? If you don't have an open mind, you learn, then you get stuck. You get stuck to what you've been taught to believe, right? And of course, there's a lot of books. There's even the Bible, right? All these things in there is a belief where it can help you or it can hurt you. Either way, right? But that's how God creates things, right? It's like the information you learn. Certain information can help you, or certain information can hurt you. And that's why God gives you the intelligence, give you the power to make that right choice, right? But a lot of time we live in a society where everybody trying to survive like an animal, right? Instead of create, build, and prosper, they want to steal, right? Because they don't want anybody else to get better, right? Because if somebody get better like me, nobody gonna work for me, right? But they don't understand, there's technology, there's thing that you can implement to help, with your business, with your life, right? But they don't understand that. They want to use humans as to control them and make them slave, right? And God don't want that. God wants you to help and create and build and prosper, right? But for most human, when they collect things and when they get successful on things, they want to control other human. That's what they do, right? Because they don't want no competition, right? Doesn't matter what company it is. Is that like go out there and invent new products and create new things? They don't want that. They want to just like narrow down to like, oh, I want to control this thing, and they can't grow any further. And all they do is like they extract money from more people, and eventually people got more money, right? See, they're not thinking about creating things. They're thinking about stealing things, right? They got one product, and what happened? If they want to corner the market and use the product, it's to dang over people's head, right? Especially all these companies out there, the big got millions of dollars, and they don't have no creativity because they don't create nothing. They just want to pass out a law, trying to get some the leader to pass all these laws to punish people from living or to have freedom, to make their product even better, right? They're looking at say, oh, let people use my products, and if anybody get better, improve my products, I can take that in and I can improve their products and give them some money for it. You know what I'm saying? Pay them money for it, for their created them, help them in my company. But instead, they want to lobby their leader to control you and trying to get that little profit that they have. Eventually, it's going to run out. Eventually, nobody going to be able to pay for anything. It's because they're not willing to create and make things cheaper for people, right? So they want to suck all the money out of the people, whatever the people have. Eventually, people have no more money. You suck every dry. Same thing like if you're going through a lake and you drain the water out and without finding a way to replenish the water, new way to bring water in, you're going to dry the lake out, right? It's the same thing with any business, any technology, with individual life, right? But you don't know how to create it, right? You got to be creative. You got to have an open mind. Most people have a closed mind, especially people like into a certain belief, right? If you have any kind of belief, you stuck with that belief, and it's hard for you to change. Even when Jesus came and tell the people about the good news, they get mad at him, angry at him, and instead of like listen to what he's saying, right? They disregard the information he gave, the good information he told them, create, build, and prosper. They disregard that. They say, "Oh, you flattered me. Oh, you didn't read the scripture. Where you get your information from, right?" They dumb down all the negativity, about what they believe in the past, but they didn't hear the word that he was saying, right? Same thing in relationship that you argue with your wife or your husband, right? Until listen to understand what the other's saying, right? And make sense. One of them got to make sense, right? You're arguing with something, right? So one of them, either the husband makes sense or the wife makes sense. Now you're going to justify about how, your point of view, because you're going cycle and cycle. You got to look at the information the person's saying, Right? Somebody telling you, look, don't worry about that. Now, in your mind, you get upset about something. Somebody say, don't worry about that. It's just little stuff. But in your mind, say, yes, I do it, but I want to be upset. I want to, and upon someone say, why are you getting upset? Why are you getting over little stuff, right? And you say, no, and you get angry, and you say, you don't love me because you tell me to don't worry about that. And then go on and on and on and on. And it's like, you're not listening, right? Same thing when Jesus said, look, listen to me. Listen to my word. Is my word true to you? Build, create, and prosper, and multiply. Is that good? But they don't listen to that, right? They say, oh, he's a blasphemy. He didn't read a scripture. He's against God. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. In rational human, they project back to where they've been learning for so long, and they don't see the goodness what other person, the other person was telling them. They don't see the goodness what God telling them. What Jesus telling them, that build, prosper, and don't worry about other stuff. Just gotta help your neighbor and jump there, help your friend, and get away from this evilness, right? But but it's hard for humans trying to get it away from from that drama, from that constant like torturing themselves, because they don't want when they first thing they hear to build, oh, that's too hard, we gotta build, crap. Oh, we gotta create, crap. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we don't want to do none of that, right? We just want to stick where we are. You can't even go any further, right? But that's how human we think, right? We think in a way where we don't have an open mind. We just like learning to believe, and we just stuck, we stuck not believing. And anybody tell us something a little different, oh, that's too hard work. It's too, too much to do, But instead, listen, God say, hey, create, build, and prosper, and multiply, right? That's He wanted you to do. And Moses got that, 10 Commandments down, to help you, to guide you, to live your life, and with your society. But you got away from it. You know what happened? You say, oh, we do whatever we want to do. No, that's limited to everything. Every element, every material. It doesn't matter how a scientist broke it down. It had limitation to it, and show to you, right? You had limitation to something, but it doesn't mean that you can build and create, right, and make more, right? But if you lock down to that's all you can do, then that's all you can do, right? So, see, the universe is huge, big. You can expand. You there's so many things that you can create, creativity, right? But you gotta have open mind to willing to learn. But for most people, you're stuck in that mindset of belief. And the first thing you do, if Jesus come back here and tell you, create, build, and prosper, you know what? You're gonna throw the Bible verse at him. Oh, God said He's gonna end. He's gonna come back in everybody, right? He's gonna take us to heaven. No, you're gonna die. When He come back, you're gonna die because first of all, you don't believe in Him, and you say that you don't have no power. You can't change nothing, right? But God said, literally say, I give you the power. Why don't you do something about it? But God, we waiting for you. For what? For me to come back and destroy you? Create, destroy the earth and create everything? But I give you the power to create and the power to build. Why don't you do it? Right? You're waiting to die? Right? When I come back, you're going to suffer. Because you know of me and you don't do nothing, and you allow your word to deteriorate. You don't take care of your garden. You're waiting for me? You wait me to come back to end you? Or do you have my power that I give you to stand up and to create, to build, to prosper, and to multiply? That's the choice you have. Now, if you think that should I come back and destroy everything and take you to heaven? That means you're dead. All right? This is heaven I built for you to enjoy yourself, to prosper, and like Adam and Eve used to be, to just defining me and waiting for me to come back. No, I'm not coming back. Right? I already come back. Jesus already come here already. He died.